They were fine till you crashed.
Well, I hit trees all the time, Stu, and my props don't.
G'day, Stu from UAV Futures here, and today, well, we're gonna get a little bit nasty, and nasty in a good way. What we're talking about is the Slam Nasty from Catalyst Machine Works, and I want to know, when you think about Catalyst Machine Works, I'm sure you think about all these things. Premium, excellent, but also fairly costly, because some of my favorite drones in the past, out of any drones I've ever reviewed, like the America, the Smooth Operator for freestyle, they are absolutely delicious, beautiful drones to fly around, but they also cost a bit of an arm and a leg, so some of those like $500-600, it can be very, very expensive. And I know a lot of you guys out there, you love what Catalyst Machine Works does, but also you don't want to have to drop that sort of cash. Today, they've definitely listened. What we've got here, this entire build is coming in at about the $350-360 mark. I'm going to link it down below. So this is Catalyst Machine Works value range. And I'm going to say, for what you get, if you want to get hardcore into racing, you want something to compete at the highest level, you take it out of the box, it's been expertly tuned, this bad boy absolutely has you covered. This is first and foremost for you racers out there, but also not going to break the bank. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to take it out of the field, have some fun, rip it around, but first we're going to put it on the bench, break it down, look at the text and the specs, yeah, and then the good stuff, and we'll see what the other boys think, see what Granger thinks, Jono thinks, Long Range Tony, see what they all think about Catalyst Machine Works' new Slam Nasty, or I think I might even have the Super Slam Nasty, because there's two versions, and yeah, is this going to be the right quad for you? Who's it made for? And what can you expect for the price point where they're coming in with these bad boy blind and flies? I'm going to interrupt this video because I forgot to film this bit at the start. I've got one of these to give away too, so we've got a shout out to Catalyst because we've got a Slam Nasty frame. Check the official rules, make sure you like, subscribe, all that sort of comment stuff. The rules are down below, but someone out there, we've got a frame for you guys as well. Let's do it, kick it off. The link's going to be down below. There's also got the separate frame, but let's dive right in, do the overview, the bench stuff, and then go have some fun. Right here, so what we've got here, we have an Extreme Racer, a bit of a premium product coming in at a bit of a budget price for what you get, put it together. It's made in America from Catalyst Machine Works, one of the best things in the business. And pretty much you take this thing out of the box, and if you've got the skills, absolutely, with the tune that's on here, you could be, if you're a professional racer, you could win with this sort of craft. Now, if we stick it on the scales, this is another little bit, and it's got some beautiful features in here, but sticking it on the scales, it's coming in at, hopefully you guys can see this, 290 grams, and that's with the braces on the front, and that is super lightweight. So we've got a racer under here. It's also made for 6S, coming in at under 300 grams, which is going to mean a lot to a lot of people out there. And 6S, well, because that seems to be what most people are racing nowadays, especially over in the US. 6S definitely seems to be the battery cell of choice. Now, moving on to the components, let's quickly break it down, have a look at it, talk about the design, and then the quality, and then the pros and cons. Go out and fly the thing, but starting at the outside in, I've just got some T-Motor props on the outside. They're super light. Underneath, I think we've got one of the stars of the show, and that's the Emax Eco motors. Now, you can see a little review I did up there. Should pop up. Thanks very much, YouTube. The Emax Ecos are pretty much a value motor that perform very, very well. We've got the 6S version on here. They're 2207s, and I think 1700 kV. Where do they keep this? It's written in a really awkward spot. It is 1700 kV, so we've got those, and I can say they perform very, very well, not only on this quad, but I've used them a lot in the past on some other quads as well. And then moving towards the middle, what we've got our F4 flight controller. That's the PyroFlip 32. It's a really high quality flight controller as well. Underneath, we've got our 6S ESC, 45 amps right there. On top two, we've got the TBS Unify, which of course, all high quality stuff. We've got our RunCam camera in the front, so the component, and a little Luminaire antenna in the back. The components that you get in here, even though it's a value range, it's absolutely first class. Like, I don't really think you can get any better quality, you know, when it comes to the ESC, the flight controller, the camera, the Unify you've got on there. If you did want to do an upgrade, I would say the one thing you could change out to really spec it out to be insane levels would probably be these motors, because they still are value motors. They perform really, really well, but there are some faster options out there. But this thing, more that for most people, has got more than enough speed that they need. And then some of the other stars of the show would be the frame itself, and that's where we can talk about the design of the thing. Moving on, and you're going to notice that this big bit on the top right here, what we've got is the flip stick, and this is pretty much, I'm sure you can guess what it's made for, but if you're new to racing, essentially we have turtle mode now, which means you can flip your props around the other way. So if you crash your quad and it's upside down on the ground, you've got 2 props spinning, so you can just flip it over easily, use turtle mode a little bit, and it's never going to be stuck in the grass. Because if you don't have this, your quad is going to be flat down. It can often be very, very hard to flip this thing back around the other way. But this, the flip stick, works very, very well for when you need to flip the quad over, then you take off, and that might make the difference between coming last in a race and not finishing to beating some other people out and getting on the podium. So most racers nowadays, I'm going to say 99% of the guys out there all use turtle mode, and having something on like this so it can flip around the ground is going to make a huge difference. Staying on the design, looking at some of the other nuances, you can see it is a little slammed profile. It really puts the camera down on a low position. The camera, you don't see any of the frame in view. It's very, very well protected. You're going to get unlucky there if you happen to break it. It's going to, you know, even if you're going to hit something head on, because you've got these little braces at the front, so they are very, very rigid. It means the frame's not going to flex. It's going to hold up really, really well in crashes. And that's something Catalyst Machine Works knows. They know racing. They know how to make a lightweight, really fast drone, but also make it fairly durable as well. So that's what we've got here. Those braces are going to take an absolute beating. We've got some modified Merica arms on the bottom. I absolutely love the Merica. It's one of my all-time favorite drones. I think it was really up there in the Drone of the Year awards. You can go watch that for, I guess, whatever year that came out. I've used that so much. But you can actually swap those arms, put them in here. They've modified them a little bit. You can see on the bottom here, they've made it so you only need to use 3 screws, and that means you're going to have a little bit of a simpler arm design. You're saving a little bit of weight as well, but if you've got some spare Merica arms, they will fit with this one. And also, this is probably worth mentioning. Let me go get another tool instead of, I've got the wrong driver here. The hardware that comes with it, a lot of times companies will cheap out on the hardware, and if I just take this out, these screws, believe it or not, you'd say, well, how special can screws be? Apparently, and look, I've got no way to verify this, but I believe Catalyst Machine Works is an absolute stand-up company. But I got an email about some of the stuff. These screws they're using, they definitely should not shear, they should not bend. There are, I believe most screws you get might be like 70,000 PSI. These ones are claiming to be up around the 140 mark. So ridiculously strong hardware we've got in here, and you shouldn't have any points of failure, which is really, really important. You want a frame you can keep on flying, keep on pushing, crash after crash after crash. It should keep on going. So this bad boy absolutely has you covered. Now, one of the other things I like is just how easy this frame is to work on. If we take the top screws off right here, also, having good quality screws mean you're not going to strip it out when you're trying to use it with your tools. I don't know if any of you have had that experience when you're taking something apart and lo and behold, let me get this off. Lo and behold, you kind of strip a screw out. That can be extremely frustrating. I highly doubt that's going to happen here. So if we take this off, and you can see that's how easy it is. Oh, drop that screw. That's how easy it is to get to work on your frame. So when you're putting something together, it's super straightforward. You're not going to be it's not going to be complicated, because trying to take something like the Merica apart, as much as I love this frame, that's a nightmare. This bad boy, very, very easy to swap arms out, to do repairs. Everything's very straightforward, which is exactly what you want when you come to the races. Because if you happen to break something inside your quad, it's important you can repair it, get up, get to the field, and that might be the difference between completing your laps, completing your race, getting on the podium, or just being stuck repairing at home because it's taken so much longer. Now what we should do, let's talk about the quality of the thing, and I'm going to say this, we're dealing with Catalyst Machine Works, little poll up there. How do you feel about them? Because they make some of the best stuff in the biz. Their products are extremely high quality. They're tried and tested. They do a lot of things right, and I'm going to say it's about a 9 out of 10. The only reason I don't give it a 10 out of 10 is because when you look at all the components in here, I'm going to say there are better quality motors out there. Like these motors, they're about the $15 mark, I believe. You can get some motors that are like about $30 or twice the price. So if it had those on here, then it would pretty much be your perfect racer. Everything else in here, the carbon, it's super stiff. I like the Unify we've got in here, the camera, everything that comes with this quad. 9 out of 10 is a pretty amazing score. Catalyst Machine Works, I should say too, are master tuners. They make amazing racing crafts that if you don't like tuning and dealing with the software side of things, these things just work, and they are built by experts. So I could not speak highly enough of them. Moving on, let's talk about the pros and the cons. And pretty much Pros, things are, well, let's do the things I don't like or things I might like to change. One thing I would like to see is maybe a little option of a spacer we could have here at the back that just raises the back motors a little bit higher than the front motors, because I found that works really well on like the Raging Droner ones, on the America, having that back raised motor. I don't know, I don't see why they couldn't do it on here. I'm sure you could buy those little extra carbon pieces, put them in. That might make a difference. Yes, it's going to add a little bit more weight, but having that option would be very, very cool. That might even be an option. Check the link down below. But other than that, I'm going to say it's not 100% designed to carry a GoPro, so if you're all about carrying a GoPro, there might be some better frames out there. I definitely stuck one on the top of mine, but if you're doing a racing anyway, that's kind of not the audience that it's going after. It's going after hardcore racers. Pros, talking about things we like, well, I love the price for a Catalyst Machine Works drone, and it's built by experts. They put it together in America. The carbon is absolutely top-notch. Everything they do here, they've taken on their premium drones, pretty much just made it at a cheaper price by swapping out the motors and doing some things. I don't even know how they make the price that cheap versus their other drones they've got out there. Yes, there is some cheaper drones, absolutely. Things like if you look at the Eachine Wizards or some of those other really, really cheap ones, but for a $350, $360 premium drone made in the USA with the carbon they've got here, you definitely are going to have a top-notch rig that you can rely on. I love the components, and also a big one for me, just how well it flies. So that's a big pro. You take it out of the box and you get a beautiful flying craft. But that's it on the bench. What we should do now, let's go out to the field, rip this thing around, have some fun, see what the other boys think about the Slam Nasty, and oh, is that a pro and a con too? What do you think about that name? Well, let's do it. Go fly the Slam Nasty around, see what the other boys think, and show you just how much this thing can be. And if you're hardcore into racing, well, I don't know, check this thing out, because I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So let's go do it. Have some fun in 3, 2, 1. Boop. Radio out here in the field. Let's do it with Long Range Tony. You're about to test out the Slam Nasty, show you some HD footage as well, rip this thing around and find out how a value racer from Catalyst Machine Works goes. And I've got to say, I'm pretty excited. So let's do it, find out how it goes on some 6S in 3, 2, 1. Whoop. I had to laugh watching this back. We had Long Range Tony in the background there retrieving his quad, doing the walk of shame after a bit of a crash. But here we go. Let's kick it off. And first things first, this is going to be a bit of a freestyle video with some flat out. We're going to do some full throttle in a minute as well. You see just how fast this is, especially for a value racer. And I'm going to say, I thought this was just going to be a pure racing craft, but turns out you kind of can do more acro with it than I first originally thought. Even though it is still designed to be primarily a racer without the GoPro, I still think it carries it fine if you're sort of willing to add that little bit of extra weight. But here we go, ripping around. There is absolutely no prop wash. It handles beautifully. It's really, really tight on the sticks. And I'm going to say Catalyst Machine Works, they're a master tuner. So they've been in this race game for long enough. They know when a quad works, what to put together, and how to tune out that prop wash. So I didn't notice any of that sort of stuff at all. The camera looks beautiful when you're flying around, and because it's got a TBS Unify and some high quality components in there, your FPV feed is going to be absolutely stellar as well when you're ripping around. Now, I think in a second we give it some full throttle stick, and because it's a 6S here, we really open it up and you can see just how much ground this thing is covering. It is absolutely hauling, and because it's on 6S, it can keep delivering that power like through for longer than a 4S as well. So if you want to get into racing, 6S I believe is definitely where it's at. It can sort of, it handles it better, it doesn't have as much voltage sag, all that sort of stuff. So you can see when you really drop the hammer and push the throttle, this thing pretty much zooms up to the moon. And I'm going to say, if you're somebody getting into racing, you want to get a high quality craft that's kind of, I'm going to say kind of mid-range, because look, there is cheaper ones out there. Some of the Chinese Bion and Flyers are a little bit cheaper, but for an one that's made in America, put together in America with some high quality components, you're with it from a top-notch company, you can't go very wrong with this. It's definitely going to serve a lot of people right, and if you do have the skills to pay the bills, this is definitely capable of winning some top tier races. And then that's of course if you don't crash into a tree like I did. And I really wish I didn't disarm, because look, I reckon I could have saved this right there, but then I was too freaked out. That could have been disastrous. Catalyst Machine Works, I gotta say, I love your quads, but for some reason here, you like to get stuck in the trees. Radio, Long Range Tony. So what did you think when you saw that Slam Nasty ripping around in the air? Because I haven't really told you anything about it. You were flying, I just ripped it back.
It sounded brilliant, like it was flying around and it had a fair bit of speed. And I don't know if it's as much your battery, but it seemed to just be holding and no battery sag, and it just sounded quick.
Yep. And it was carrying a GoPro too. I've taken that off because I don't want you to lose it. I almost lost it in the top of the tree.
But look, having looked at it, it's super slammed, isn't it? Like that's a pretty low stack on there. Everything's really tight. Nice little camera. It's got a Runcam Micro.
Yep.
I like these little bracing arms. I reckon that's going to do a lot. This will probably take your front teeth out when it hits you in the face. But no, seriously, this looks good.
What do you think about Catalyst Machine Works in general?
Look, I know Granger flies a lot of Catalyst Machine Works. I've always thought they are relatively expensive, but this is a bind and fly. I think this is around about $3.
Yeah, this is their value option, so about $3.50.
So yeah, look, Granger raves about them, so I'm keen to get my hands on one and see what it's like.
Let's do it.
Yeah, isn't it, eh? It's unbelievable. Man, is that 6S?
Yeah.
Man, everything's 6S you give me these days, mate. It's crazy. All right. Alrighty, let's tighten that one up.
I think you got that round backwards. Do you know what I mean? If you do it the other way.
You do it that way.
Yep.
Everyone's different, aren't they? Let's try that.
Well, some people just more logical, mate.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that donger there. That is stiff. That is stiff. Right. Alright, let's give this bad boy a run.
Bad boy.
What you gonna do? Alright. I'll see if I won't get it stuck in a tree, but I can't promise anything.
Okay, yep. Go for it.
Maybe it'll go swimming.
Well, no, don't go swimming. I still haven't even put this on the bench yet.
Alright, let's give it a go.
Yep, that's gone, Tony. And this is on Emax Eco Motors too.
Alright, so this is quick. I'll give it that. Picture's nice and crisp. Good camera angle, nice clear colours in the picture. It's got a bit of punch, which is nice, and it seems very quick. So obviously got a fair bit of camera angle on it because just flying it like that, she's pretty fast. Nice and quick round in the corners. Let me just try it round a tree. Yeah. Oh, good tune. Like there's no oscillations in the corners. It's going where I'm putting it, which is a rarity for me. This is good, Stu. This is quick. So I think if you're, let's say you wanted to start racing and you're going to head up to Eastside in Melbourne and give it a go for the first time, you didn't really know what you want to fly, this would be a good quad at $350 bind and fly. This would certainly get you there, and you know, you might not win the race, but you certainly get around and be competitive.
Do you think if you had the skills you could win on this? Or you think
look, I reckon if you've got skills will definitely outplay performance any day, because you see so many races where people are flying around and 2 or 3 people crash, and it's just bad handling will destroy any advantage you get. So absolutely skills any day, but if you're half decent and you give yourself a half decent quad, I think your chances are going to be there. And this is really good. Like I nearly put it in a tree. We're not doing that one again. No, I like this. It's very quick. We'll just do a bit of an orbit. Yeah, no, I like this. Great looking camera. Plenty of punch. 6S. My only issue with 6S is
I think it can come in 4S as well.
Yeah.
You can get a 4S version if you prefer.
I've got so much 4S gear. It's just the transition to 6S has really has been a hurdle for me, because you know you got all these batteries sitting there that 4S, and what do you do with them if you start flying 6S?
Yep.
You know, it's like a computer company, they bring out new software and you've got to change everything over to make it compatible. Look, 6S is definitely the way to go if you're going to be a hardcore racer, but I think for freestyle 4S is still great. So if you could get this in a 4S, it would certainly be able to let you utilise your existing packs,
yep,
and still have a really good race experience. So, but no, I'm liking it. It's very quick.
All right.
And no, nice and stable. And there's
you've got a loose prop, so just gently bring it in and not over the puddles. Bring it in. Disarm. Nice. I'll go get it, because one of your props is loose for sure.
All right, let's give that a go. That was good. I like that. All right, try that. What do you reckon? What have we done?
Loose prop for sure. That noise.
That one. Oh, look at that, loosey goosey. Who tightened those up?
I did.
Oh,
they were fine till you crashed.
Well, I hit trees all the time, Stu, and my props don't come loose.
All right, final words, final thoughts.
Yeah, look, I really like it. It's fast, it's nimble, it looks good. It's super. It's super slammed. It's got this big erection up here. I don't know.
We just got demonetized for that. Thanks, Tony. Cheers.
It's good.
Righto, now it wouldn't be a Catalyst Machine Works review without Granger. You have picked her up from school, we're ready to rip with the Slam Nasty. I want to know your first impressions on it, but also full transparency. In the past, you've never had a sponsor before on any of our reviews, have you?
No.
But today's a little bit different. So who's your current sponsor, Granger? You did pick up a sponsorship. Who is it?
Catalyst Machine Works.
So yeah, I did some full transparency there. So even though Granger, I want to hear your honest thoughts on this drone, but he is also sponsored. So I want you viewers to know that Granger is actually sponsored by the company that makes this. So take that as you will. Tony and myself, we're not sponsored, but anyway, let's do it. Put it through your paces. First impressions. Now you also have a Slam Nasty frame at home, and just how many Catalyst Machine Works have you actually bought?
Oh, I honestly can't count.
No, honestly, I want you to give me an answer. Have a guess. How many frames have you bought from Catalyst?
Probably like 10.
10.
Yeah, around 10.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely Granger believes in the company. He actually has a sponsorship
America.
From. But what is it about, okay, you actually have your Slam Nasty at home, your own Slam Nasty.
Yeah.
Anyway, Granger, what's your impressions?
Well, it's really easy to work on, a bit easier than my America because it's a bit more open. So if I have any problems on my electronics, I just got 4 screws and I'm into it. It's really sturdy, no flex, and these bars just make it super strong. So it is a lot stronger than it looks because it is really light and you may think it's flexy, but it's probably one of the stronger frames I own. I've smashed mine around and I still haven't broke mine, so
All right,
I'm
put it
happy.
through its paces. Oh, this is their
ready.
Bind and Fly too. So I know you built yours up at home with some special components. This is like their value, $350 US Bind and Fly. So ready to do it?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do it. I know. Picture looks great.
All right. Let's take it away, Granger. Now also, I put a GoPro on here so we can watch some of your juicy HD footage because I want to know too how it handles with a GoPro versus no GoPro because you have your own that you fly around without a GoPro.
That's exactly right, yeah.
All right. Talk to me.
The first thing I noticed with this frame is that it's just really point and shoot because of how light it is. So wherever you point the frame, it's going to go and it's going to go there really nicely. Another thing, you do get a bit of props in view, and I really like that because it makes you feel like you're in a spaceship. It handles really good because I think this frame is $50 US, and I mean, can't really get better for that price. This is going to become my everyday racer, and it's a budget frame, so if that doesn't say anything, I don't know what will.
Do you prefer this over your normal America frame?
Yes, I definitely do because of how point and shoot it is. I like being able to stop and start really quickly because it helps my racing whenever I'm doing a slalom or something. So when I was doing slaloms, when I was racing it, it was really tight and smooth, and I was really surprised how locked on it felt.
All right, and what about the tune on this? Well, speaking about my one specifically, what's the tune like on this one from Catalyst? This complete Bind and Fly.
Catalyst standard, honestly. It's a really nice, really smooth. I'm not feeling any prop wash or any oscillation, so look, you're going to enjoy this if you're an intermediate, expert or beginner. It's just amazing. Something I really like is the flip stick. It's sort of become a new sort of trend lately. It really does its job really well. I thought it might snap, but I never saw it in person, and feeling it in person, it was really rigid, and I don't think you're going to be breaking it. Stu had a little bit of a tumble before, and when it was upside down, it was just completely, 2 of the props were completely in the air, probably by like 30 degrees.
All right, and so for those people, Granger's struggling to explain it, it just lets you flip over so you can back upside down, so it's good for turtle mode, which is kind of a critical for racing.
Exactly.
So, all right, so anything you'd like to change?
Probably have a pod. I'd probably like a pod for this.
Okay.
That's my main little criticism I want. I want a pod. I'm a pod guy. But apart from that, I can't floor it. It's everything about it's awesome. Easy to work with, fast, smooth, and budget. So yes, big thumbs up for me. Good job, Neil. And all the other guys that work.
No worries. So there you go. Hopefully Granger's almost taken my head off right there. But what we should do, thanks for that, Granger. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to race you with your one versus me with my one. So the 2 Slam Nasties against each other.
It's going to be nasty.
But we'll need some sort of handicap so I can catch up. Nice. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
Rightio, so there it is. There's my review with a Slam Nasty, and overall, first and foremost, I want to know, what do you guys think for a 5-inch racer like this from Catalyst Machine Works? I'm going to say the $350 mark feels about right when it comes to a racing drone. Yes, you can get some cheaper, I guess, Chinese-made bind and flyers, but what we've got right here for something made in the USA with the carbon and Catalyst Machine Works really looking after the pilots, doing things right with the flip stick, putting all their innovations in here, and I guess they know racing and the tune that it comes with. If you are hardcore into racing or you just want an extremely reliable craft that you can rip around, flies beautifully out of the box, you don't need to do any work and be part of the Catalyst Machine Works, definitely check this bad boy out. But I'd love to know, what do you guys think? I'm going to say here, I might be a little bit biased because I really like the America. I really like the Smooth Operator, and the reason I like Catalyst Machine Works is because I keep flying their crafts. I've got options like, you guys know how many drones I have here, how many different ones I fly, and what do I fly when I get to fly for fun? I seem to be going back to those bad boys all the time. So I'm very happy that a lot of people now out there, this is much more accessible, whether it be the $50 frame or the bind of the $350 bind and fly. This bad boy is going to get a lot of people into the Catalyst Machine Works family. But what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. The one part, I guess, that I was a little bit annoyed about, or not annoyed about, but totally shocked, is how much I love my America. But then Grange is saying that he actually prefers his Slam Nasty over his America. That kind of blew my mind a little bit because I really, really like this craft, and I'm sure that's just because it has a special place in my heart, but that just shows that, yeah, I guess he really likes this one, and he has bought like 8 Americas or 9 Americas. That kid has so many, and now he seems to like the Slam Nasty even more. I guess I was a little bit shocked. I didn't expect him to like it that much. Anyway, on that, subscribe for more FPV related content, all that other sort of stuff. If you're a vendor too, contact Catalyst Machine Works, because I know they're always looking for vendors or people who want to sell their frames, all that sort of stuff. So that's for you vendors out there. And giveaway rules down below, and said the happy flying part, so get nasty.